So John, we're going to go through the design process we did with Martin O'Brien, and it's to give people and viewers a flavour of what's involved with the design process. And I guess with any job we do, technology plays a big part in it.
Yes.
And we carry out a survey, and I suppose maybe for people, why is a survey important on a job?
So a survey is important in a job, Bertie, because it provides us with information in terms of the levels of the ground, because every yard is different. Not every yard is flat, unfortunately, so you're dealing with falls and inclines. So if you're building anything from an extension to a new project, levels need to be taken to ascertain finished floor levels of the proposed building, right, and so on.
Yeah. So gravity is an important factor to have on your site if it's there.
Yes, yeah. So like most agricultural buildings aren't going to be flat. There's going to be a fall so that the slurry flows towards a tank or effluent tank. So so if you can work with the falls in the yard rather than falling it the opposite way, it cuts down on a lot of cut and fill.
Yeah, okay. And like I suppose for Martin's job, there was a lot of cutting, wasn't there? There was a lot of rock.
Yeah, in terms of the rotary, yes, there was a huge amount of dig cut, but it made sense to put it where it was, because first day when I came out to look at the job for Martin, he intended on putting it in a flatter site, but it made sense in terms of civil, but in terms of cow flow from cubicle sheds and from the grazing platform, it didn't make sense.
Right.
So you'll see there later where we put the shed, the rotary made sense.
Right. So look, as with the videos we showed, we started our journey, I suppose, with Martin on the design back in 2018. So I suppose we basically started with the survey. So maybe just the GPS there, do you want to explain what that does?
Yeah, so this is an R10 GPS system. So basically what it does, it works by GPS, so from the satellites in the sky, like your sat-nav, but it's a lot more accurate. So basically what it does is we can carry it around on site with us in every point. So where it's on the ground there, it'll take exactly the point where it's standing. And we can relate this all back to our system on AutoCAD. So we know when we press enter there, that point is taken. It takes the finished floor level. So that relates to ordnance survey datum points. So it'll tell us for instance, that's 60.21 meters above sea level. So we can relate all that back then to our system on the computer.
Yes. Okay. So maybe the S610, let's stay with that again, another Trimble device.
Yeah, that's another Trimble device. Again, it's a GPS system. We tend to use this more for measuring internals of buildings. So say, for instance, if a farmer is extending onto an existing building or he's converting that building, basically what it does is it scans the whole building. It'll do a 3D scan of the whole building. It'll create a point cloud data, so that we can upload that onto our computer system. It'll create a 3D image. We can flatten that down, so it'll record everything from positions of columns in the building, uprights in the building, gates, manholes, tanks, everything. It'll create a very detailed layout of the building, which is important when you're doing a drawing, so that you can marry in the proposed structure after. And
it obviously complements the GPS well. The
yes,
same
yeah. You can connect them all together, so they'll talk to each other.
Yeah.
So we can use this in tandem with that.
Yeah.
On a job.
Yeah. So especially for infill of building, say, parlour into an existing shed.
Yeah, cubicle infill into existing buildings. Yeah. It works very well.
Yeah, great. It's
it's very accurate.
Yeah. Otherwise you're using a measuring tape and you're guessing.
Yeah, and there's going to be mistakes with that.
Yeah. And I suppose finally one of our favourite pieces of kit in the business is a drone.
Yes.
Something we use a lot.
Yes.
Great piece of technology.
Yeah.
And it gives you fantastic perspective. So when you set up on a farm, what do you do typically in a yard with this?
So basically, it's very simple to use. It connects to our phone or iPad, and basically what you do is you can map out where you want the drone to fly. over the farmyard. So, you know, you can create a boundary. If you don't want to fly it over a certain, maybe next door neighbour, you can draw a line, and basically what it'll do, it'll take off, it'll fly around 60. You can adjust how high it's going to fly. We usually fly it between 60 and 70 metres off the ground, and basically it'll create a map of the whole yard. It'll create a very accurate map, photo of the yard as it stands now, because Google and Bing images aren't always up to date, and this is a lot more accurate. And again, this can be all linked with these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all that information combined, you have a really good perspective when you're starting your process of design of where the project is starting from.
You do. It's the starting point for the whole design.
Yeah. And I suppose, John, it's even in your own career, you're from a farm, civil engineer, worked in, say, commercial sector, but again, it's bringing that experience of all that civil engineering experience, that farming background meshed together.
Yes.
That I suppose you're bringing a lot of experience to farms.
Yes, yeah. So look,
process.
I suppose we would have learned about all this in college, and again, yeah, as you said, I've worked in commercial sector and residential, but I grew up on a dairy farm, so I've seen all the buildings going up, and I worked and helped out in the farm as well. So look,
yeah,
it's a big help to be able to mesh it all together.
Yeah, no. So John, we'll go inside and we'll look at the drawings here now and look at AutoCAD and what we've created for Martin.
Good job.
Okay. So John, we're at the screen here now, so I suppose we were talking about a good perspective of a yard. So this is the drone image of the yard.
Yes.
That you have. So I guess in 2018 this is what was built. So this is the original parlour, 24-25 unit herringbone. It's done a lot of work. These are the old barns that would be typical in a lot of farms and all these stylish bits. So I suppose the first development that Martin did was this large cubicle shed here. And I guess this is where he came in then, and this is where he picked up the project.
Yes, yeah. So Martin wanted to build a new rotary parlour because he was milking too many cows through that, and it was taking too long. So he decided that he was going to put in a rotary, a 60 bale rotary. So look, we came out first day, I did the consultation with Martin. Look, he kind of had his own ideas. He was maybe looking at out here to put the rotary, but it was more logical to put the rotary here.
Yeah. Because
all his cows were coming from this direction, and basically from the grazing platform as well. It's going up and down that way, north and south, and then the rest of it is going east. So so basically from that drone image we generated a CAD, a computer drawing of the yard. So basically all the buildings, the existing old buildings there, the existing silage pits. So that shows he had 3 tanks there. He has the existing cubicles. He also needed more cubicles for his expanding herd. So you can see there we added on 9 bays. And we added in extra storage in which he needed.
Yes.
This shows the position of the rotary parlour. So the pink area there is the holding yard, the waiting yard, and the handling and drafting area. The light blue area there is the main milking area, the rotary, along with all the ancillary rooms. You have your veterinary platform, your office, your dairy, your plant and electric, your chemical rooms, and he's an external mill silo there as well. So you can see this is the new route for the mill truck. That was the old route there. So you can see the path the mill truck takes, and it comes in and out that way. It links in with his shed, so cow flow is very good, as you can see.
Yeah.
The existing roads link in well. Now the only downside was there was a lot of cut, which you'll see there in the next drawing. So this green dashed line represents the existing ground profile. So like obviously he had done a bit of digging out here for this. This was the existing cubicle shed, which we also extended. But here, you can see there, there's 10'9" up to 11 feet of cut, and maybe more in areas there.
Which is a big I suppose, factor in this whole development that he had to contend with.
Yeah, it was a big undertaking, and obviously there was a big cost implication with that. But Martin was willing to sacrifice that, you know, for the right design.
Yes.
And it made sense.
Yes.
To do it.
Yes, and I suppose in his case it was rock. It was a rock breaker sitting on it
yes,
for weeks.
Yeah, it wasn't soft ground by any means, but I suppose he was able to reuse some of that rock in other areas of the farm, you know,
and I suppose with the help of the drawings, John, he was aware of the challenge, you know, and it's a big issue on farms where maybe getting the groundworks right is an area that could go really wrong financially and over budget, but at least Martin knew the levels, he knew what he had to do.
Well, yeah, and look, for the builder as well and the contractor taking on the work, he knew ahead of time what the exact amount of cut would be. And we were actually able to generate a volume of the amount of cut and exported spoil from the yard.
Yes.
So that again, they knew how many loads they'd be dealing with.
Okay. That's fine. So I suppose again another project from behind you there, John, is we were involved with an underpass as well with Martin.
Yeah.
So again, I suppose we do quite a bit of work on underpasses.
Yeah.
It's as I suppose designing and from a planning point of view, I suppose it's something that has evolved over the years, and I suppose it's a project now that's a lot harder to get planning for across the country. But I suppose look again, if you're designing an underpass, what kind of key things are you looking to do from a co-flow point of view, or? Well,
ideally, if you can keep the entry and exit in and out of the underpass, you know, as straight as possible. But look, obviously, in this scenario, it was. This is a different farmyard now, but in this scenario, the farm, the underpass was linked right next to the farmyard. It's just where the land was, that he couldn't link it anywhere else. So look, in the scenario, you have the cows coming in. Look, luckily enough, the land was falling away here. You can see by the contours that it was falling south. So basically, we were able to have a ramp that's 1 in 22, which is very, very level.
Yes.
So the cows approaching, going to the milking parlour there, were able to continue straight in, and there wasn't much of a ramp. Now at the other side, there was a fair rise into the yard, so we had to introduce steps so that the cows could easily go up and down into the milking parlour there. So look, in most scenarios, you try and keep the underpass away from the yard, so you have more scope to, have a straighter entry and exit point.
Yeah.
But look, I suppose you can see there, that's a section taken showing the cows. As you can see, it's flat there, but then there's a rise up into the yard.
Briefly, John, the challenge again planning for an underpass in Ireland now, or?
Yeah, so look, I suppose over the years, and the last couple of years, the council have got more stringent. I suppose depending on whether it's a local road, regional road, or a national road. With the regional and national roads, they tend to ask for a lot more reports. They ask for technical acceptance reports, which there's a big bearing of cost in that on the farmer. There's also soil investigation reports to be done. So there's a lot of paperwork involved, and with the introduction of grants now for underpasses, it means the department are more stringent on them as well.
Yeah. Okay. So just in regard to Martin's underpass, I suppose if that's the layout of the farm today, but from a farm mapping perspective, again, this map was created back in 2018 for Martin. So I suppose some land was leased, like a lot of farms, they were scaling up. So this is the farmyard back in 2018 that we looked at. This is the extra land that was taken. So the proposed underpass was positioned here, and that's where we designed and got planning for it. And I suppose with the benefit of the mapping service, we were able to integrate new roadways, improve the cow flow, basically, and get everything to marry in together with this with the location of the farmyard in mind. Roll on to 2023, John. Martin's underpass was built here, and I suppose the benefit for Martin was he was able to go, the cows, when they exit the underpass or enter it, it's all in a straight line.
Yes.
So it's a nice movement here from the farmyard right up here. There's no delay.
No delay.
So like that is obviously the ideal.
Well, yeah, that was the ideal scenario. Obviously, the underpass was located away from the farmyard, so you'd have more scope. But yeah, it's the flow in and out is very good. The ramps were fairly shallow, so there was no issues getting cows in.
Yes.
So that's the underpass there in yellow, and then you still have a route for machinery.
Yeah. Okay. It's very good. Yeah. So so I suppose again, look, the benefit of the underpass, obviously it unlocks a lot of land for Martin, and it creates land that's inaccessible previously, and allows, I suppose, the sustainable crossing of cows, minimising traffic. So like they're obviously a huge benefit on farms.
Oh yeah, there's obviously a cost in it, but most farmers that put them in, you know, it's a big benefit to them. It's a labour saving benefit in many other ways as well. Yeah, okay. John, just to wrap this up, I suppose the purpose of the video here was to showcase, I suppose, what we've done for Martin and what we can do for other farmers. Yes. And I suppose the deployment of the service hinges around experienced people like yourself and the team around you, the use of technology, which we saw outside, and I suppose it is a big help where farmers are undertaking a big project to have maybe that's outside advice. And I suppose, look, we're nearly in April 2024 here now in Ireland. We have seen changes. There's a lot of big projects done in Ireland, but with derogation and stuff like that, we probably see more large projects like this coming on board in the UK now. That's probably what you're seeing in reality, is it? Yeah, we're getting a lot more inquiries from the UK. You know, obviously out there the farms are a bit more large scale, in most cases anyway. So yeah, there's a lot of projects there where we've seen in the past here farmers putting in large scale parlours and cubicle sheds. It seems to be happening over there now. Yeah. And I suppose we have a new team member there, David Walton. Yes, yeah. Based in Cheshire. Valuable addition to it. Yeah, he's a lot of experience, and he's available for any projects like that in the UK. Yeah, with the support from the team here. Yeah, absolutely. So if you have any inquiries, just send them in, and David will contact you, and great. Go from there. All right. Thanks for your time. Thank you.